Great to have you company again, Gemini. It's July 2020 and it's been such an intense cycle. If we take a look at what happened last month here in your second house, we talked about the annular solar eclipse there, right in the sign of Cancer, which has everything to do with your money and your value system. And as I said to a couple of the other star signs here, that it seems this month you're sandwiched between two eclipses, because if you note here, the movement of the moon sort of starts off here in the sixth house of work, health issues, quickly moving to the seventh house of relationships, some karmic stuff you've got to tie up there. But the big thing is the lunar eclipse here occurring in the opposite sign to what the solar eclipse was last month. Take a look at that here, the eighth house, where you've got three retrograde planets. You've got Neptune up here retrograde as well. There's a sextile to that, so a lot of imagination involved in how you're going to negotiate your shared resources, money, banking issues, taxes, that sort of thing. And this, for some of you, is going to be a period where you really do need to go back in time, possibly a long way back, to figure out just how you got to where you are. That's also shown by the earnings function of this second house, and Mercury, which is the mercantile planet, retrograde as well here. Fortunately, Venus, that's gone direct. That was retrograde last month. But Mercury is very, very important in that it rules Gemini, which is your sun sign. And for those of you who know your lunar sign or your rising sign, you can equally apply some of what I'm saying in those circumstances. Keep your eye here around the middle of the month, and we're getting there. You're going to see your ruling planet go direct. So, although all of these planets here are still retrograde in the shared resources area of your horoscope, Mercury will, as you can see here on the 12th, move into its stationary position. That means it's slowing down relative to the motion of the Earth, and then it's going to move forward. A lot of people think that when the planet moves forward on that date itself, the problem is going to resolve. That's not necessarily the case. You have to see exactly where that planet went retrograde and then observe its motion moving past the degree. So you might have to wait a few days until you feel confident about some of the decisions you have to make here relating to income, finance, your value system, that sort of thing. Spending could be a little bit abrupt out of the blue when the moon makes its conjunction to Uranus here in this 12th house. 12th house is expenses. Mars is in the 11th house. That's quite nice. It's not particularly your most favourable planet, but it does rule the 11th house. And when that planet ruling the 11th house moves through this area, then you can have some specific dream fulfilled or something that you've been looking forward to come to fruition at this time. Notice here the movement across Venus. Venus is in a lovely position here, looking at your seventh house of relationships. It's trining the house of love. Now, a lot of astrologers don't look at the aspects unless there's a planet in these areas. I don't tend to agree with that. Based upon some ancient Indian principles, we can see, for example, that there are stars here, all of these signs of the zodiac are just clusters of stars. So there is an interception and an interaction with these different parts of the zodiac. In short, this period after the 15th is going to step up your relationships. The new moon here in the communication sector, very nice. After the 20th, 21st, just as the sun moves into your third house of communication, new moon occurs here. So different ways of communicating, different ways of thinking. Travel is on the cards, although they're more short journeys. Look at this real estate sector here on the 25th, 24th, 25th, making the favourable aspects to Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter here again. So there may be some talk about refinancing, looking at property matters, sprucing up the house a little bit with expenses. That was also shown by the connection of the moon to Uranus there in your 12th house. 6th house opposite Uranus on the 28th, 29th can give some sudden reversals in your working schedule. Health matters that may not have been anticipated can come to the fore. So you need to factor that into your schedule. Notice here also the opposition from Mercury. I told you it would move in its forward direction, but still not ready to completely resolve all of these things in this 8th house. The moon completes its cycle there very close to the south node in the 7th house of personal relationships, business relationships, PR. This is an important end of the month, as you can see here. The feminine planets in your chart, Venus and the moon, ending up there on the nodal axis, this karmic axis. We talked about these two transits also some time ago, shifting, because they move in a reverse motion to the rest of the planets. The rest of the planets move this way. These nodes, which are the karmic points, karmic controllers of your destiny, moving in the reverse motion. So when these love planets, these emotional planets make contact, there may well be a whole lot of relationship issues that come up, again related to the past, and most importantly related to the way you share your money and your resources. That's the month in a snapshot, but you can get more information at astrology.com.au. I always mention that at the end of the videos. If you'd like to subscribe, we'd love to have you on board. If you've got a technical question or you'd like to organise a reading with me, I'm here at your disposal. Until next month, stay safe. Look forward to your company again. Bye-bye.